Thanks for checking out a new episode of Bad Advice with Chris Cubis, the show where unqualified people give unsolicited advice. I'm initially joined this week by returning guests Mike Wiebe and Avery Moore. However, they had to take off. Part of the way through the episode, luckily, I was able to find some replacements. Good, clean Christian comedians, the McCuewans, stop by and answer all your questions about religion and morality and more. Give it a listen. Thanks for checking out a new episode of Bad Advice with Chris Cubis, the show where unqualified people give unsolicited advice. We are back. It's a hot as fuck day in Austin, Texas. There was a mass shooting last night, so that's fun. It's also, I like that people checked in on me, but I got news for you. I'm not on 6th Street ever, or particularly at 1:30 in the morning. That is not your boy. I watched Low Key and Top Chef and went to sleep by 10:30, so I was very safe, but thank you for checking in. We've got two returning guests, podcast favorites, good friends, funny comics, make some noise. Avery Moore, Mike Wiebe. What's going on, folks?
Hey, we're safe too.
Yeah, you guys are both safe as well. Were you were you out at 1:30 last night? Were you places?
No, I worked until about 9 at my bar, and then my boyfriend Jackson picked me up. We got wings, and I came home.
I love
and watched TV. Yeah.
Not to do any kind of, I was almost there, but I really was like, I want to go see, because I haven't been back to the Velv yet.
Mm-hmm.
And
the Velveeta room open.
Yeah, Velveeta room's open. Velveeta room's right down there, and I wanted to go see George. I was like, oh, that'd be fun. Go down there, and just me and the wife had a little too many drinks too early. And we're like, you know what? Home is also nice too.
But look, no one died.
Yeah.
There's 2 people that are still in the hospital, but I think it's 13 people injured.
Crossed.
So thank God no one fucking died.
For sure.
But they haven't found the dude.
They haven't found the dude, which is impressive. I know impressive's not the right word, but like usually those things wrap themselves up pretty quickly. You know what I mean? Not the case.
Because they have everything barricaded and but I think no one got an eye on the guy. Like
that's wild.
There's a bunch of different descriptions. Even in the Statesman article I read, they were like, we're not going to provide the vague descriptions that were given by witnesses because they're so vague.
They're too vague.
Yeah, we don't want to misrepresent the story. Yeah.
And just in this day and age, you'd think somebody would have a cell phone out.
Well, that's what they're doing right now.
Wild.
Is they're combing through cell phone and closed circuit.
Yeah.
TV and all that shit.
I mean, and people from out of town were hitting me up and saying what was it, like a biker gang thing? I'm like, man, that area is such a melting pot of turds.
Exactly. Any number of pieces of shit could have been involved.
Yeah.
Dude,
all of the gangs of every genre of, it could have been the Baseball Furies, the Warriors.
yeah.
But all the gangs,
the Jets, the Sharks.
Yeah. But on top of just insanity, on top of just
they don't think it was Rot Rally related. They think it was just some fucking guy.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
But fortunately, laws are getting passed, and hopefully it'll be even easier to get a gun.
Yeah, it's easier to carry them. That's for sure. There's no longer, you don't need a training or a license, anything. Just
they need what they need
to
do is make it mandatory that everyone has to carry a gun, and you get shot if you don't have one.
And then we'll all be safe.
Then we'll finally be safe. The tyranny will end.
I have seen so many just drunken there was a time where you might find me out late on 6th Street coming from a show or whatever.
I remember.
Those days have for sure existed. And I've seen plenty of, I don't know that I've ever seen a person on 6th Street at 1:30 in the morning and I thought, God, I hope they have a gun. I just really hope that crying girl who's holding
her shoes
and a baby. I really hope she has a gun right now. It's never been my thought. Gotta keep that baby safe.
Barefoot as dumpster water makes its way down.
Yeah, just washing over her toes. Yeah.
Why did they leave me?
One time I was on 6th Street and I saw I heard a rustling and I looked over and there was a drunk girl just in a bush and she was just on a phone screaming at some dude, and she went, "I bet if I was in your band, you'd make time for me." And I was like, "Oh, Austin, I love you." That's a very
I heard a girl once walking past the Valve on the phone, and she said, "No, it's fine. I ruined the night."
Oh, you probably did though. I'm sure you did. Just crying.
She's like really well dressed. I was like, "Oh man, I bet you were somewhere nice."
Yeah. You got too hammered too early.
I love it.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm pretty sure that girl that was in the bushes, Chris, was not my ex-girlfriend, but I have had an ex-girlfriend say that to me many times.
Yeah. I understand. It felt like a very Austin argument to have. You're yelling at a guy in a band. You're also drunk. You're in a bush. Like, it was just never.
I was at Hole in the Wall on Wednesday, and Jackson is a musician, and was seeing all of his friends for the first time in over a year. And so they're all talking like music projects and what they're doing. I'm very bored. Then I see the owner of the bar, who's my boss, who owns a bar that I work at, and your old tour manager.
Oh, Steve Hall.
Steve. And he's this like big guy with a beard, and he's like real nice and funny, but he leaned in and he goes, "Are you Dottie McCuewan?" And my boss goes, "No, Avery Moore." And so I just hung out with them all night. Like there are all these hipsters hanging out and hanging around, and Jackson's talking to all these musicians, and a bunch of like cool 20-somethings are hanging out. And I just sat with two old men for like 3 hours, chain smoking, drinking Jameson with old men. And I was like, this is where I belong.
Yeah, for sure. I've definitely had those
at the picnic table.
I have those moments for sure. Like, particularly now people will be like, "Oh, we're going to the next bar." And I'll be like, "Ooh, if you had caught me 20 minutes ago when I was peaking drunk, I'd go to that next bar with you." But now I'm sleeping drunk. I'm on the way. I'm going to pass fast food and then bed. That's the trajectory of my drunk right now.
You're talking 20 years ago?
Yeah.
No, now I'll be with the old folks, just drinking and bitching. How is comedy treating you guys? I know, Avery, you got shows that you're running. Mike, I'm seeing you all over town.
It's been pretty fun. I've got a show at Long Play East at the bar that I work at, the first Wednesday of every month with Taylor Dowdy. We call that one T&A at Long Play. Pretty fun. But those have been going really well. And then The Joke of Painting is back.
Hell yeah.
And those have been really great. And you'll be there on Monday.
On Monday. Well, unfortunately, this will be out on Friday. So if you're hearing this, I was already there. It was sold out.
And you should have bought tickets, and it was sold out.
It was sold out. It was wild. Joe Rogan was there. We beat him up. It was super fun.
We spit on him. That's not a threat.
No. Also, we didn't beat him up. He's huge. He's a big man who just fights all the time. I'm up.
He would beat all of us.
Beat the shit out of us for sure.
I feel like we're okay unless he gets us on the floor because his ground game really.
It's gonna be Adam Rabick's last show with us. He's moving to Chicago.
Yeah.
So Bob, the angel of Bob Ross, will no longer visit us from heaven. So we're gonna need to find someone else from heaven to visit us, I guess.
I'm sure we can make
every
that
show.
work.
But yeah, comedy's been
There's
fun.
A lot of dead people in heaven.
Yeah. I'm doing a show tonight that's Stone Drunk Sober. And I'm team stoned, and that's my rule, is that I don't smoke before I tell jokes. So I'm terrified.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't like getting stoned before doing stand-up. I can get like a little stoned if I'm doing like a podcast or something where I'm just loose. But if I'm doing a set, I get real weird and like, no, I don't. That doesn't work for me.
I start thinking about my jokes as they're coming out of my mouth. Like
a
feedback loop, and I'm like, no.
I don't know.
It's bad.
I did that show stoned as well, and it was.
How did it go?
Well, it was fun, but I at the time I smoked even less pot than I do now, which is not a lot. And I went into that one. I was like, I'm gonna go all in, and it was like after like a big Christmas several years ago at the Fallout when it was the new movement. It was after the big Christmas vacation, and I vaguely remember hearing once like, yeah, they're gonna renovate it, and they completely renovated and changed the layout of the room.
Yeah.
And as always, I'm like late, and I'm rolling. They're like, we gotta get you stoned right now, and they got me really stoned. So then right as I was going to go out, it used to be that from the green room, I went straight in, got stoned, green room, didn't even look at the stage.
Go to that.
And you go, it used to be you open up the door in the green room and you go directly onto the stage.
Yeah.
And now one of the most high I've ever been. And I look out the door
And there's a hallway.
The room works completely different, and my mind was melted. And I ended up having a great time, but I probably got through like 3 jokes. And they set me up real well, where it was just like, hey, this guy's a real fucking mess right now. Let's just laugh at what a mess he is.
Yeah.
What is happening? We get a great laugh.
All right.
One time
it'll be fun.
One time I ate mushrooms at Fun Fest and then walked to the Velveeta room. Almost got hit by several cars, and then got to the Velveeta room and was like, put me up, guys. I'm going up. I was like, I'm reimagining comedy. I'm going to be the Bill Hicks of this shit. And I just went up on stage. I told like 19 premises, 0 punchlines. Was on stage for like 2.5 minutes, threw my hands up in celebration and walked off like I had just game changer set, baby. This is
high-fiving people.
Yeah. This is Carlin when he stopped doing late night sets, got stoned and went to San Francisco. This is like new level shit.
Yeah, I hit up our friends and I was like, hey, you mind if I pregame before the show? And they're like, yeah, we'll set you up, bud. I was like, okay, good. Because I only have just a little bit of weed at my house. I don't think it's enough for the purposes of the show. So yeah, I'm gonna maybe eat like a little edible, maybe a little gummy thing.
There you go.
And just really dive head first.
So you guys have both done this show before. You both know how this works. I read some Dear Abby letters. We talk about them for a little bit.
Hold on. My mom's calling.
Okay.
What?
Hold on. We got to talk to Miss.
What?
Talk to your mom.
That's Angela.
Angie Reed. No fucking way. All right. No, we'll be there. All right, we're on a podcast right now, but
hold on.
My mom's hanging out with Willie Nelson.
What?
What?
And they're having a barbecue.
What?
And he specifically asked that you and I come and hang out. He's a big fan of ours.
I'm a little upset because we're doing a podcast here, but like,
I feel like spoke me out before my show tonight. God. He heard about the show.
He heard about Stone.
He said, "Get her down here." So hold on, Mom. Okay, you gonna come pick us up? My mom and Willie are coming to pick us up. All right, we gotta go.
Can you ask? Hold on. Can you ask? Oh, I was gonna see if you could ask if Willie wanted to do the podcast, but don't ask. That seems aggressive. I understand. You don't really know him like that. I get it, but I do like. This is my recording window for the week. I need like.
Well, I've got my neighbors are home and they're comedians. Do you want me to go see if they could do it?
Yeah. If you can.
Yeah, okay, Mike, you talk and then I'll go
okay.
get
Her name. It's a little different. I don't know if they're like faith based. They don't. They probably haven't seen.
Hold on, did you say faith based? What did you say?
Faith based. Faith like they're Christian. It's Christian comedy.
It's Christian comedy. Okay. Yeah, we can try.
They keep it pretty quick. It's a married couple. They're called the McCuewans. And they mostly
Mike, do you want to go check on that? See if they're okay. You go.
Yeah. Hi everybody, how's it going? Hey Dottie, thank you so much.
All right, McCuewans, thanks so much. We're gonna get out of here.
All right, guys, thank you. Yeah, you're welcome. Jefferson, come on, we're gonna do a podcast.
A podcast. We hadn't done one of.
Are you Chris Cubans?
I am, and you must be.
My name is Dottie McCuewans.
And my name is Jefferson Montclair McCuwen.
And my neighbor Avery, she said that you are just the best. You're very funny. And this is an advice podcast.
It's an advice.
So that's kind of what we do. We're youth ministers.
Well, we are youth ministers. We're often giving advice about how you shouldn't play with Ouija boards and how you
all the different energy drinks that has satanic origins, things like that. Monster being the main one.
Yeah.
Do you guys also do comedy, or are you mostly focused on the minister?
Oh yeah.
We're comedians.
We're comedians.
We used to do it to joke around just to make the kids laugh, and then we realized that we were pretty good at it.
Yeah.
now we're America's premier faith-based comedy couple based out of Cornerstone Church in San Antonio, Texas.
Yeah. So we travel all around the nation, especially if churches. I mean, we go everywhere, especially if you're considering everywhere between like Wichita Falls and San Antonio.
Okay.
We're everywhere.
Yeah,
What's your
worldwide, Mr. Worldwide, baby?
I keep talking Mr.
We
Worldwide.
call him Bulldog.
Bulldog, the pit bull.
Pitbull.
He's from Miami. We ain't never been there, but we went to LA once.
You went to LA once. How was that?
Oh, we did not like it. I heard that Sheryl Crow song all I wanna do is have some fun. And we went to Santa Monica Boulevard, and I'll tell you, that's not a nice place.
No. There were fires in the hills everywhere. We're like, this is appropriate. Babylon should be burning.
Yeah, God did that.
Have you guys ever done a podcast before?
We were on AM radio one time.
Yeah, we did that, and then one time we did a simulcast with Dr. John Hagee.
Yeah, Pastor John Hagee.
I don't know who that is. Is that
he's a minister down at Cornerstone Church, but he's kind of famous. He was on Ancient Aliens.
He's on Ancient Aliens on the History Channel.
Okay.
But he's kind of like our boss. I mean, the Lord is our boss. But,
number one.
But we do work for the youth center, so.
Avery and Michael had said that this was advice column, and it's like, well, that's pretty good because we've read one of the best advice you could ever get, best advice book, best self-help book.
Are you talking about the Bible?
The Bible. The Bible.
Well, I get that one out there, but I really like the setup.
Can I be honest with you? As I've never actually read the Bible.
What? Cover to cover. You ain't never read it.
I never read it. I've never flipped through it. I've never skimmed it. I've never cliff noted. I know it exists. I hear it's got a lot of just violence. So a very violent book.
They're all lessons to be learned.
Okay.
They're all lessons to be learned.
It's always the bad guys that get hurt, though. It's sort of like a Marvel movie.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Is it? Question is, so you say it's lessons to be learned. Is it like, oh, these are like sort of allegories and people write a story to give you like a moral?
Yeah. Through the violence and persecution, burning of villages, things like that, we learn lessons that God is trying to teach us. And sometimes, a village and its structures will get in the way of a good lesson.
Yeah. And it's allegorical in that it's a lesson you learn, but every single thing also literally really actually happened.
Okay, that was kind of what I was curious, because I don't know. I know
there are lessons to be learned, but I mean, they was gonna cut that baby in half.
Yeah, exactly.
It was really gonna. Okay, now my question. So it's the history, right? It's the record, everything that happened. Is it? Does it cover the part with the dinosaurs, or are they like before the book?
They keep talking about making a prequel Bible where that is covered, but it hasn't actually come out with yet. Haven't talked about. There's one line about before there was a bunch of giants and
and the giants, we believe that's the dinosaurs, because they did find the bones in the ground.
Yeah, they just
God put them there. But I think that they was there back then. I just think that maybe God made the dinosaurs.
Exactly.
Okay. See, I can get with that. I can get with that. I've heard some Christian folks say that like dinosaurs were never real.
Oh,
yeah. That's silly.
They were just around on God is funny, and he was tinkering. He was tinkering around in the early days. It was called beta testing.
Yeah,
when he was beta testing Earth, he made a bunch of lizards and stuff, and then he was like, this is kind of boring. It'd be fun if I made something that could like wear fun outfits.
Yeah, fun outfits.
And have pizza parties.
Sing songs and
have like a pizza party.
And bring joy to the children.
The dinosaurs are just biting each other.
Yeah,
they just bite each other all day.
God did have a part in Jurassic Park, because them's is fun movies. That's Steven Spielberg. He's blessed.
You guys, I gotta be honest with you guys. I think sometimes I was a little hesitant when I heard that you guys were sort of Christian ministers, because this podcast can get a little loose, a little ribald. That's what I'm saying. You guys seem very fun.
We work with the kids. We're hip. We know the lingo. YOLO. You only live once. Well, guess what? YOLI, you only live infinitely.
Infinitely. How about that? We started a new hashtag.
Yeah, okay. Excellent. Well, why don't we?
I mean, God works in mysterious ways. What if God briefly? Well, okay.
That was a horrible song.
You didn't like that song, Avery? Avery, I'm sorry, you didn't like that song?
I just don't think I like the idea of Jesus riding on a bus.
No, he wouldn't need to. He would at least drive a like a
Camaro.
Yeah, probably something cool. Something cool.
Like a lifted Bronco.
A Miata with no top on it.
Wow.
Yeah.
He'd have to wear a scarf to protect his beautiful hair.
He'd probably wear one for fashion too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What if God God works in mysterious ways. What if God created the dinosaurs and then let them die off real quick and planted the bones down there so we could find them and think about them and make Jurassic Park movies? Otherwise, we wouldn't have no Jurassic Park movies to enjoy. We wouldn't have no Chris Pratt to watch on TV.
And that is a good Christian right there, Chris Pratt.
Exactly.
I love
He got divorced though, right? Is that okay in Christianity?
That's all right. We're not Catholics.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. Well, let's go ahead and we're gonna read some of these letters. We're going to read some of these letters and see if we can help some people here. I want to get your take on some of these things. Let's try. Dear Abby, I am 15 and my mother makes me go to church every Sunday.
Yeah, we can relate to her. We can relate to her already.
I don't like going. I believe in God, but I feel awkward when people ask me to talk about it. My mother makes everything mad until she gets her way. I've tried talking to her about it, but she doesn't listen to me. I don't know what to do. Signed, Dilemma in Texas. Is it okay for a person of faith to not go to church every Sunday?
Absolutely not.
No.
No.
That's a big no. Okay. What are you gonna have
You don't have to talk. You just gotta get your butt in the seat.
Yeah, you just gotta sit there.
You gotta show up. You gotta put in the time. You gotta let them know let the big guy upstairs know that you're in it to win it.
You're in it to win it.
You can sacrifice a couple hours on Sunday for a free donut, little girl, okay?
Yeah.
You know there's going to be donuts and tacos if you're in Texas. So why don't you just go on
I guess you don't want to spend the night in a gym and have pizza. Okay. All right.
Ever heard of a walk-in? It's real fun.
Yeah.
I've never been to church. Like I've been inside of a church. I've gone to weddings. I've gone to funerals. I've visited historic churches like St. Patrick's Cathedral and those places like that. But I've never it's Sunday. I got to put on my nice shirt and go to church.
Religious man,
well, Chris,
I would say I am not a religious man.
It's only required if you're a Christian.
Well,
okay.
We're not trying to make it. We don't want any heathens and Catholics in our pure church.
Let me do the sell, Chris. I think you're missing out because church is great. You wake up at the crack of dawn on Sunday. Okay. And it's just imagine today. It's a hot Texas day. You wake up tomorrow. You wake up at the crack of dawn and put on your thickest wool clothes and a big thick, and you look in a very appropriate, because you know even if you like to dress up, you got to keep in mind you don't want to be fashionable at church. It just needs to be thick and formal.
You don't want to look hip. You just want to look formal. You want to look like I put myself together. I made an effort. Is what you're looking for.
Wool. I think wool. There's a lot of wool in the Bible, sheep related stuff. So
I do enjoy big hats, though. I do enjoy hats. I enjoy hats. I enjoy little gloves.
Gloves are good.
But what I remember is all my siblings. I'd have to take an ice cold shower because everybody's got to take a shower before they go to church. And I'm the youngest kid. I got to go last. Mm-hmm. Now I got to get in a freezing little shower and put on my petticoat, my little gloves like it's Easter or something.
Oh boy! But I bet you were adorable.
Thank you so much. Yeah. I mean, you've seen pictures.
Yeah, I've seen pictures.
Pretty cute.
We have them all over the bedroom.
So then you go to church. It's early. But what's the air conditioning situation like?
Minimal at best. You want to feel that. I'd like to think that it's the heat of the Holy Spirit and not the fact.
Now we're spoiled. We're at Cornerstone. It's palatial.
Yeah.
And that is for the Lord. That is not for John Hagee and his ego. That is not for the ministers and their ego.
Is this one of those like mega churches? Is that what? It
looked
Like it's like lots
the
of people.
Coliseum. It looked
Okay.
it looked Roman in architecture. There's columns and ivy. And
Yeah.
palatial is how
But
I
you could
call it.
also imagine a UFC fight happening down there. There's a little bit of
But we got
Okay.
great AC in there. They got
That
6
place
AC
was
in there.
pretty
But the
good.
churches we came up in,
oh boy.
no, the
boy.
floors is creaky. It smells like musty wood paneling and
Yeah.
cigarette smoke.
Yeah.
And it's hot.
When we
It's
grew up,
hot.
you could smoke in church, and
Yeah.
they don't do that anymore.
No,
But,
Is smoking against, like, is Jesus against smoking, or is that just more of a health?
He
thing?
is now. It was a recent turn of things
He
that
is
he
now.
found out about.
well, I
Okay.
mean, as science has progressed, we realize what they do to the body.
Exactly.
And the body is a temple for the Lord. So
Yeah.
if you smoke and you destroy it.
Couldn't
But
figure
man,
it out.
my granddaddy, he sure loves smoking.
Oh
them.
boy, they just smoked them
Marlboro
up.
100s.
Yeah.
What's interesting to me is that you said that Jesus didn't used to be against smoking, but as science has figured out more and more how bad smoking is for you, Jesus is now against smoking. I find
Yeah,
that
that's
interesting
right.
because it feels like, and I don't want to ask a lot. I'm not trying to be rude. I don't like to, but it seems like Jesus would have like if Jesus is supposed to be all knowing, God's supposed to be all knowing. Wouldn't have Jesus already known it was bad for you? And also, didn't he theoretically make the plants that are bad for us?
I know where you're going with this. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's just a conundrum.
Well, it's he works in mysterious. We don't always think about that kind of stuff.
No, sometimes you just gotta throw your hands
Sometimes
up
You
and
got
say whatever.
you got it's that weird thing where like I think it was probably also biblical that they were like because they used to be like food pyramid, whole bunch of carbs, and now they're like no, maybe we don't do the carbs so much.
You gotta have 2 loaves of bread every day
Yeah.
and 3 boxes of milk.
Yeah,
I've seen that
on the
Jesus.
leavened bread.
I've seen that Jesus. There's no way he's eating carbs like that, shredded. Every time I see Jesus,
Hey.
just cut, just
He walked
chiseled.
everywhere.
He walked everywhere.
And what
was
they
cut.
didn't ever talk about was when he was sprinting, because he would
Mhm.
sprint places.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He had no shoes and would just jet across the sand.
I don't want to do like stand-up comedy bits, but I'll just go ahead and say this. I bet, but this is a joke we tell. I bet if Jesus, if you were to walk up to him and go, Jesus, why are you in such good shape? You know what I bet he'd say? I bet he'd go, CrossFit. Come on.
Can you
I mean,
imagine
come on.
Jesus flipping a tire?
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Flipped over tables, right? Did he famously flip
did,
over
he
some
did,
tables?
he
And
did.
I know some
Yeah.
stuff.
He did.
And wiggling those big ropes.
Yeah, with rope wiggling.
The rope wiggling, the tire flipping.
Oh,
And then they're all grunting
just grunt
in a parking lot.
parking lot.
So what would we tell this 15-year-old
Go to church.
who just go to church? That's all the advice we have for him.
Yeah.
Get your butt to
Until you're out
church.
until you're out of your mama's house, she's telling you what to do, and you need to
Yeah.
obey your
And it
parents.
sounds like she just doesn't want to go because she's
She doesn't
afraid she's
like
gonna get
talking
called
about it.
on. She's gonna get
Mhm.
Just sit there. It's okay. Doodle in
Exactly.
your hymn book.
there is a warm tradition of quiet kids that sit in church that
Yeah,
think
we're youth
strange
ministers.
thoughts that we are afraid of.
Like
That's
Skylar Tidwell.
Skylar Tidwell.
We believe,
Who
we
is Skylar?
believe-
Who is Skylar Tidwell?
we believe
He's a
him
kid
to
not-
be Q.
We believe him to be Q. He's a 15-year-old.
Q as in the Q as in QAnon.
Uh-huh.
As
Exactly.
in
We think
this
it's Skylar.
child has presidential level access.
we are
We
afraid.
think Skylar. We are
Well,
afraid
he's
Skylar-
faking it. He's making up. He's the one that's
Okay.
causing all of it. But he is out of some demonic mischief he has
Okay.
instilled in him, and there's nothing we can do about it. So you know how Q's are all obsessed with the lizards.
Mhm.
Lizard people. He has 2 lizards,
Uh-huh.
and their names is Boondock and Saints.
Yeah, he's got Boondock and say he tried bringing him to church. He let him go on accident, and everyone freaked out.
Everyone freaked out because you're sitting there singing a song, and then an iguana rolls
Yeah.
over your foot and gets with his little scaly skin.
Yeah,
Are lizards okay in Christianity? Because that seems kind of serpentine.
Lizards
I
are
don't-
fine.
they're fine. You don't bring them to church though,
Or breed them with people.
or bring them
Sure.
with people.
Do you guys
Exactly.
are you guys QAnon followers? Are you
no.
part of?
Absolutely
no,
not.
no,
No,
that's-
Donald Trump and his goons, man. I mean,
we
we are
not.
loving and accepting of all people. We are true Christians.
We are true Christians.
And
Well,
those people.
well,
Donald Trump is the Antichrist, which I'm a little upset about because he's supposed to be better looking.
oh yeah, it's gonna be good. We are loving, accepting of all people, but let's be honest, we put a little bit of a side of Goths and Catholics.
Yeah.
They're both have a little.
Okay.
We don't want to.
Too many upside down crosses.
Yeah, there's a little. Yeah, too many crosses and they're upside down or right up. It's like calm down on the idolatry a little
Yeah.
bit. Okay.
Well, that leads us interestingly into our next letter here. Bear with me for a second as I pull it up. This says, "Dear Abby, a month and a half ago, my boyfriend of 5 years proposed. We are happy and excited. Most of the wedding party are my friends from college who are like a family to me. They have also grown very close to my fiance. One friend, Eden, defines herself as a goth. She wears dark lipstick, dark makeup, and usually wears all black, lace, fishnets, etc. Her casual wear isn't all that out of place. However, when she dresses up, the goth comes out in full force. Parasol, thigh-high boots, over-the-top stuff, at least to me. She's invited to our wedding, and I'm concerned that she may go overboard with her wardrobe for the event. I do not wish to stifle her style or her sense of self, but the guests will be mostly family, and it's a formal event. Is there a polite way to mention this to her and ask her to tone it down a bit? I don't want to hurt her feelings or appear to be stuck up. However, I am sure she will be in many of the photos. Signed, Polite Friend in Pennsylvania." What do you think about a goth attending your wedding?
I mean, that's a tough one.
That is a
because
tough
you
one.
need to be accepting of your friend, and you need to let your friend express themselves.
But when I think of some of our wedding photos where we had your cousin, where you had him show up, and he had
Joshua.
and he's got a shirt on that says "No fatties."
Yeah.
And we're like, what?
In the wedding
photos.
And
Nobody saw that when you were taking the picture? You couldn't have
He was
headed that off?
Well, I couldn't. My grandmama was there. I couldn't say, Joshua, get out the
Exactly.
photo.
Sure.
I just said, button up your blazer, and he ripped the sleeves off, and he said, Dottie, shut up.
Well, yeah.
And I said, "This is my wedding day, Jefferson. Come over here and avenge me." And Joshua, a big guy.
And also the Montclair side of the family, my side of the family, we have a history of passive aggressiveness. That's how we deal with stuff.
Yeah, my family, we get into brawls.
They get into brawl. And it's
And I was afraid that Joshua was gonna just put the beating on my new family.
Yeah, I kind of did make it a point that I needed to go check out my cousin, my own cousins. I think your brake lights are off. Let's go check them. You go pump on them because I sensed something going down.
Yeah, but yeah, it said no fatties, just
No
plain as
fatties.
day.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're accepting of Joshua, and we still love him.
And honestly, and in a weird turn of events, he married a very rotund woman
He did.
after that.
He did.
Oh,
But
good. I think that shows growth. He went
I
from
think
no
so, too.
fatties to at least one fatty, and that seems
think-
like he improved as a person.
I think we yelled at him so much for that shirt that maybe he reflected on himself and how hurtful that shirt was to my wedding photos and to anyone that could read
Yeah,
it.
yeah. He was, and at one point he came up to me, put his arm around me. He's like, "You want to take a drink?" And he had a flask. I was like, "Alcohol on my wedding day? Are you crazy?"
I can't believe that you
It was-
never told me that.
No, it
was a dry wedding.
Yeah,
Ugh.
But
dry honeymoon.
Is that a Christian dry honeymoon as well? That
just-
sounds unpleasant.
we just don't partake. Well, we drink Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
We had fun.
Yeah.
You give me some sugar and we're
Yeah,
blasting off the Kokomo.
Sometimes we did on that way. We were like Kool-Aid, a little bit extra sugar in there. I went a little bit
That's
nuts.
sugar, more like a cup.
Yeah.
You went wild. We stayed up till about one in the morning.
1 in the morning. 1 in the
1 in
morning.
the morning after the 700 Club.
Yeah.
You guys,
vomited.
have either of you never had alcohol in your lives?
I accidentally took a sip of a Miller Lite that had cigarette butts in it when I was a little kid because I was just parched.
Mhm.
And I went to reach for it. I was about 3 years old, and I never had a drink of alcohol after that.
I had one time I had tried kombucha. I vomited everywhere.
It was disgusting.
I was out of my mind. I was saying inappropriate things.
One of the little girls in our group, she said that her mama gets her kombucha. We should try it. And there's this little slimy oyster at the bottom, and it really messed you up. That was disgusting.
Yeah, that sounds terrible.
I kicked a hole in the drywall.
He did. He did.
Out of my
he said kombucha, and he kicked a hole in the drywall.
It's kombucha with a T. Kombucha.
Kombucha.
And it oof.
So as you are both, maybe you're not as friendly to the goths, you also did seem fairly understanding of this. Yeah.
I think that they should let her come to the wedding in the way that she wants to dress, but if she has any upside down crosses or any satanic symbols, tell her take those off right now.
Okay.
But I mean, a parasol is nice, maybe reminiscent of Mary Poppins or something.
I'm just saying, if it's a wedding in the summer in Texas, that black clothing is not a good idea.
Yeah, that would be my one complaint. I'd be, somebody's a little musty.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, I'm curious what you'll have to say about our next letter.
Okay.
Dear Abby, I'm a woman in my 30s with a good head on my shoulders, but I have a dilemma. I recently became Wiccan, and I am hiding my new religion from my fiance. I was raised Protestant, but have drifted away from Christianity. My fiance was raised Catholic, but no longer practices. He's not actively involved in any religion, but I'm worried about how he'll react to learning that I am now a witch, which is just a broad term for anyone who follows the Wiccan spiritual path. I don't want him to think I've lost my mind, but I also can't keep my beliefs from him. Secrets are never a positive thing in a relationship, but I am worried about how this news will be received. Please help. Signed, West Virginia Wiccan.
Well, she's right about honesty.
Yeah.
You need to tell your husband that you're dancing with the devil.
Yeah. Well, here's the problem. I would suggest that she go actually find out what happens when you are a witch and all the bad things that will happen to you. And all the resources are a movie called The Craft. And it does not end in a good way.
It does not.
They does not. I think only Neve Campbell's the only one that lives. And you think you're going to be lucky enough to be Neve Campbell?
I
do not think so. I don't think so.
You're up there mixing herbs and spices and eye moot and all that stuff. It's unnatural. It's unhealthy. It's against God, and he doesn't want you to do it. He doesn't want you mixing up potions, influencing people's lives with your spells and your incantations. What, smudging a room with sage? What does it have to do with anything? You know what that sounds like to me?
The Catholic.
The frankincense and the myrrh that the Catholics go swinging around.
Oh, they put the little.
I'm curious how you feel about the husband in this situation, because he was, or fiance, because he was raised Catholic but no longer practices, and he isn't particularly religious at all. Is that an upgrade? Is that an upgrade? To go from Catholic to not religious?
Well, at least he's not practicing idolatry anymore.
Yeah.
I
think they need a good Christian marriage counselor.
Yeah, I think they need that. That is a mess. We don't know how to clean that one up. That's
the one thing there. So she's practicing
a witch and a reformed Catholic.
First of all, a witch and a reformed Catholic. That's a wrap.
That's insane.
How do you get the eyeballs out of those poor little salamanders?
You gotta kill it.
I don't like.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think maybe some of your ideas of witchcraft come from like cartoons. I think a lot of it is you just like you're about the earth and
they wear pointy hats and they had long noses at night. At night, when the moon comes out, their nails grow and their noses grow.
So we're like a werewitch. They're more like a werewitch.
They get evil eyes and a pointy hat and a broomstick. And they all laugh this awful little laugh. They go, hee, hee, hee.
What is your position? Have you guys ever watched any of the?
So it's not a cartoon.
Have you ever watched any of the Harry Potter movies or any of
Oh no, they scare the life out of me.
No, anytime I hear the thing, the music from the movie.
Well, I wouldn't even know.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
Death metal? Is that
what it's It's some
Oh, it's like
orchestra.
violins and stuff. Yeah, it's like
Orchestra, yeah, violins, and it just sends a shiver up my spine.
We one of the kids had said he was into them, and then when he accepted
He
Jesus
said
Christ,
he was in Gryffindor,
he's a Gryffindor.
Gryffindor. and he told us that we would probably be Hufflepuff. And I
can
said,
see
"What
that.
are
You
you
feel
talking
Hufflepuffy. They're brave, but they're very accepting and loving. It
But
does seem a little bit
What
like
are
you guys.
you talking about? What are these names?"
Yeah,
Okay, so
I had thought he was talking about Pokemons.
I thought so too. I said,
Yeah.
"No, excuse me, I like Squirtle."
you guys are okay with Pokemon though? Those aren't like deep little demons running around.
They're animals. They're cartoons, and they don't worship Ouija boards like
Okay.
a witch does, or like a
Okay.
Harry Potter does.
Just trying to find the line. That's all. You understand this is new to me, so I'm just trying to find the line. I
Mhm.
apologize. How does Halloween factor into you guys'? Is it okay? Is it bad? Can kids go
not
trick or
Not
treating?
okay.
It is a not good holiday.
No, we're not into that.
We're into the good holidays.
Easter,
Easter,
Good Friday.
Christmas,
Good
Good Friday.
Christmas.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Easter. I mean, Christmas. Everybody loves Christmas. Fun holiday. Easter's even more fun. You get to Easter. We celebrate our Christ's birth, and Good Friday we celebrate his brutal murder.
And
So
then
it's a
Easter,
whole.
He said, "I'm back."
I'm back. Guess who's back? Back again. Christ is
You're
back.
talking
Christ
about
is back.
death and coming back, like things coming back to life. That all sounds very Halloween-y to me. Let me ask you a question about Halloween. What if, because like we know we think about the old-timey Halloween, it's like, oh, witches, whatever. But like, I feel like Halloween now is just like, oh, a kid dresses up as like a old-timey hobo and he gets some candy. Is that bad? Can a kid do that part?
Well, I wish they wanted to just be hobos. Now they all want to be Harley Quinns and Jokers.
That's the thing, is that it's not
Like
just
1 year.
hobo. It's not just a little clown dancing
Yeah,
around.
they want to be Iron or Spider-Man. What about Spider-Man?
It's scary, evil stuff.
They want to.
And also,
That's how they get you in. That's how they suck you in. They go, hey, here's a little bit of candy. You've heard the stories about people offering
because
candy.
even if you're an innocent little kid dressed like a Spider-Man, there's an evil person out there on Halloween, because that's when they come out and they're coming to get you, and they're coming to take your little Christian soul straight to hell.
You're dressed like a little Spider-Man. Well, guess what? There's a real Dr. Octopus that wants to just wrap his tendrils around
And
you.
drag you to hell.
Drag you to hell.
All right, we'll go away from Halloween. I apologize. I didn't mean to bring up a sore
You bring
subject.
any of that chocolate into hell with you, guess what? It's gonna melt. You're not gonna eat it. You're not gonna get to
You
eat
can't
it all.
enjoy your candy in hell.
Mm-mm.
You said this lady needs a good Christian marriage counseling. Do you guys do marriage counseling as well?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we try.
I mean, it's not our specialty, but we absolutely can.
We can. Yeah, so if you just wanna you can email us at the McCuewans at cornerstone.org.
Okay.
right.
Well,
we can do some marriage counseling, and if you have a Pomeranian, Dottie can do some animal whispering.
I can.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we've got two.
Let me ask you. It seems like talking to animals. That feels witchy to me. I'm sorry. That just feels very witchy to me.
It's a gift from God.
If you're talking to goats, but we're talking about Pomeranians.
Yeah, Pomeranians.
Okay.
Cute.
Yeah, we got two. Oh, they have biblical names. Their names are
Deuteronomy
and Leviticus.
Whoa, Leviticus. That's a tough one. Isn't that the one with all the rules?
Yeah.
Is Leviticus the one that tells you not to eat shrimp or fuck a dude or something? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get.
It's okay. It's okay.
We have
Leviticus.
We've met Skylar Tidwell. We've heard all the words. We've heard all the words.
Leviticus is a little stinker, so we have to put all the rules on there.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
He's a little bit of a bad boy.
So,
Feet
but
on
you
the
can do a little dog whispering. Is that right, Dottie?
Oh,
I can.
yeah.
I just go. Hey, cut it out. Hey,
And that works. That's pretty.
hey, little Pom, you can't do that. Hey, come over here. And then
Very loud whispering, honestly.
Yeah.
I say, that's not food for you. That's not food for you. That's what I say.
We can go ahead and get into our next letter here. We're almost time to wrap this up, but I think we can help a couple more people. What do you say about this? Dear Abby, I go to movies occasionally with my niece Connie and her 2 kids. Although the theater has a sign, no outside food or drinks allowed, Connie sneaks in snacks in her oversized purse, then doles them out after the lights go down. I'm not talking about a couple candy bars. She brings bags of candies, chips, and cans of soda. While I agree with my niece that the price of refreshments is outrageous, I also believe it's the theater operator's prerogative to set prices and policy. I suggest Connie skip the snacks during the movie and take the kids out for ice cream afterwards. But she said she didn't want to deprive them. When I offered to pay, she said it wasn't about the money, it was the principle. And besides, everybody else does it. I feel like my niece is teaching her kids it's okay to break rules you find inconvenient as long as you can get away with it. I enjoy the outings with them, so I've dropped the subject for the sake of harmony, but it still bothers me. Connie probably thinks I'm a critical old crank who's out of step with the times, and I'd love your opinion. Signed, Paying for My Popcorn in Oregon. You guys go to the movies. Obviously, you like your Jurassic Parks. You're not so big on Harry Potters.
And we pay for our snacks because stealing is a sin.
Wow.
Is it stealing, or if you just bringing in something you paid for somewhere else?
You're taking money out of the pockets of the movie
Of the
man.
AMC of Cineplex Odeon.
Of the eye pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I understand they're a little pricey, but it's a special occasion. You save up, you dress up, you go.
You have to dress up for the movies? Is it like church? You got to put on the wool? Is it the same wool?
We put on wool, which is nice because it gets chilly in there.
It does. It gets cold in there.
And we get dots, and we get unsalted popcorn, which is hard because we have to make them pop it just for us because they don't have any unsalted popcorn. And we say, hey, would you mind? And the teenager behind the counter usually rolls his eyes.
Like a shark about to bite something.
But then they'll make us our plain popcorn because we like it plain.
But the thing is, if you're going to a movie, you want to support the movie. You want the theater owners looking like, well, what movie made the most money on the snacks and everything like that? And if you're going to a Kirk Cameron movie like we like to go to, you want that theater to know we got to get the next Kirk Cameron movie. We got to get the next Kirk Cameron movie.
We'll each get 2 extra large Mr. Pibb extras.
Exactly.
2 dots and 5 unsalted popcorn.
5 between the 2 of you?
And a pretzel.
You ask them to make it unsalted as well. They have to make a fresh.
Well, they can't. They can't do it because it's frozen. So that's where they get them from Cisco.
Get a kid to pick them off.
So we take a plastic knife or something and we just scrape it off ourselves. And then I take a little water and a napkin and I wipe off the residue.
You like the Kirk Cameron movies, you say?
Oh.
What was your opinion of Kirk Cameron's Saving Christmas from 2014?
We loved it.
He did it.
He sat in that car with his brother-in-law and he brought him back to his faith.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Hold on. You've actually seen that movie. That's impressive.
Absolutely. A couple times.
A couple times in the theater. I remember last summer during the pandemic, we rented out a theater just to watch it in July.
We did because we went. Oh man, sometimes I wake up and I say, I wish it was Christmas.
Yeah.
I love Christmas.
Oh yeah, and then there's the movie where Kirk Cameron plays a firefighter. And let me tell you what a honest Christian man is. He had a kiss and love scene with a lady, but it turned out that the lady playing his wife was not his real wife as an actor. So they had a stunt double so he could kiss his real wife when they did that. That's a true story. That's a real thing that happened.
That's a real thing. He didn't want to kiss the actress.
You want to kiss the actress, so they just
they got a stunt double.
A stunt double hold on. So was the stunt double his wife, or did they get a stunt double for Kirk Cameron and then they just kissed?
It was really Kirk Cameron, and then
they brought his wife in.
They just shot the back of her head.
Exactly. I gotcha.
Yeah.
Man, that is commitment to not acting, I guess, but good for him. Yeah.
That's why he is the Daniel Day-Lewis of movies that do under
$65,000 at the box.
$65,000 a year.
The budgets are upwards of $1 million.
Yeah.
So they're big budget movies.
They are big budget.
Because I mean, what $1 million's I mean, that's a
Exactly.
big
That's
budget.
that's a
A
lot
big
of,
number for sure.
Uh-huh.
Let's go ahead and do
Big
one
number.
more. We'll do one more letter and we will get out of here. I'm curious. I want to see you take. Dear Abby, my husband recently started a new job. He works with a bunch of women, which is a switch from what I'm used to since all his previous jobs were all men. These women adore him, and I don't think of most of them as a threat, but two of them are very flirtatious. Although he's not one to notice that stuff. He says they act like that with everyone, but I've tried to explain there are boundaries of what's acceptable for how a woman acts towards a married man. He thinks I'm overreacting and they don't mean anything, but that they treat me differently when he's not around. I'm confident he wouldn't flirt back, but they seem to think take his kindness as accepting their behavior. I don't want them to think he thinks this is okay, but he doesn't want to be rude since they all work together. What can be done, and how can I get him to see what I see? Am I overreacting? Signed, stuck between quiet or confronting. Flirtations in the workplace. Have you guys ever had like a non-church related job?
Well, we've never been out of arm's length of each other since we were married.
Yeah.
Right after high school.
We
So
work together.
We work together.
We
we-
tour together. We
we-
tell jokes together.
And we pray together.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So that's not a thing that we can speak on with
Yeah.
personal experience. But I'd say that I would just go to straight to HR and tell them that there's two harlots messing with your
Yeah,
husband.
exactly. It's actually illegal.
Yeah, it's just I'd go straight to HR
HR.
and say, "Hi, I don't work here, but my husband does, and there's two hussies trying to move in."
They are committing a crime against
Like
biblical adultery law.
Pre-adultery? Is it like,
Yeah.
would you call it pre-adultery?
Pre-adultery. It's
pre-adultery.
just a setup. They're trying to
It's a
set him up for
setup.
failure, and men is weak.
Now, are these women goths? Are they goths?
It doesn't
too?
say. It doesn't
Sounds
seem
very goth
likely.
It
behavior.
sounds like a goth thing. 'Cause
I'm
it
gonna wear my
temptresses.
I'm gonna wear my corset to the workplace and the wedding.
Ugh.
It's not acceptable.
It's not godly. I get you.
Not godly.
Is there any chance that they're just nice? They're just being nice to someone they work with.
Women don't tend to be nice in my experience when it
Yeah.
comes to talking to men.
Yeah, I don't know. Everyone we work with is very cold.
Yes.
Where do you guys work?
At the Cornerstone
At the
Youth-
church. So everybody at the church is cold.
at the youth center.
Yeah,
yes.
well, I
Okay.
mean, mostly we're working around children, and they are
and they do not
they
like
are-
us.
they do not.
So when we say that our coworkers is cold, what
Yeah.
we're really saying is that we work
Are you
with
talking about
the kids.
The kids.
Mr.
The kids.
Tidwell?
Yeah.
What's his name?
Yeah, and we try.
Skylar Tidwell.
Are you talking about
Tidwell.
Skylar Tidwell?
Sometimes he brings in his friend Randy, who I don't even think
Randy.
has a last name.
Yeah, Sebastian Lopez, and Mary,
Mary R. There's Mary R. and Mary S.
Right.
Mary
He's
R.
about-
and Mary S. And Mary R. likes heavy rock and roll. And then Mary S. is a big fan of like pop music, and they're always fighting about it.
They're
How do you
always-
guys feel about modern music? Is it okay to listen to like the Megan Thee Stallion?
I mean,
I do like horse. I like songs about
Horses.
horses, but I'm not familiar with her. But if it's sort of like a song about,
we
And
like
you haven't heard WAP? You haven't heard the smash hit?
but I don't-
Skylar told us about it, and he tried to play it in the youth group, and I took his iPhone and I threw it up against the wall.
yeah, we do not.
And I
do that.
broke it, and I
Yeah.
called his mama myself, and I said, "I'll pay for it. Sorry." She
That's
said,
fair.
"I got the insurance."
I mean,
don't
once she
worry."
heard some of those lyrics, it was not.
I
Because
thought-
at first she's like, "I'm gonna play WAP. I'm gonna play WAP," and we thought it was gonna be a song making fun of Italian Catholics.
so
and
we
that
said,
was-
"Put
Yeah,
it
put it
on."
on. And then all of a sudden, it was far from it.
Yeah.
Far from it.
It is
Yeah.
very different than that. That is true. Guys, this has been a very fun and I think helpful podcast. I've learned a lot. I hope our
Thank you for
listeners have
having
heard a lot. Is there anything that you guys have any shows coming up or anything you'd like to plug?
Do we have any shows coming up? Buddy?
I don't know if we have any shows. I know on the way out that Mike had
Mhm.
said, "Hey, make sure to tell them that he's starting a monthly show the first Thursday of every month at Buzzmill with his friend Doug Mellard, who's a comedian too, who's moving back to Austin.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
he said.
awesome.
It's
Glad
gonna
to
be called
hear that.
Excelsior.
Doug
And
is
they're
a good Christian.
He is a
We
good
love
Christian.
Doug, and he's moving back from LA. And I say, welcome back.
Welcome back. He's got a beard like Christ himself.
Yeah, he
Very
does.
glad. And Dottie, did your neighbor happen to say anything that she needed to plug?
Yeah, Avery said, "Hey, don't forget to tell them that that I run a show at Long Play East the first Wednesday of every month, and then also I do a joking show about painting. It's called The Joke of Painting, and that's the second Monday at Spider House. And it also that she told me to do a good job, and thank you so much, and we high-fived, and then that's when we came on the podcast.
Thank you very much for the detailed progression of how that conversation went. I am at Chris Cubas on all social media. You can find, I will have already done a joke of painting, but I am headlining the Velveeta Room. If you're listening to this on Friday night, it's tonight and tomorrow. So the weekend of the 18th, I'm headlining both dates. So come check that out. Hold on, Dottie, did you have something else you needed?
Avery also told me that she is also headlining the Velveeta Room.
Avery should have really left us with more detail.
Maybe wrote it down or something. Yeah.
He ran
As
out
opposed
to
to
drugs with Willie Nelson.
She is headlining the Velveeta Room July 23rd and 24th, I believe.
Well, that's excellent. I will make sure to have Avery back on before then to plug the show more directly. And I, Chris Cubas, will be back next week with more bad advice.